Okay, how's everybody doing this evening? We're still in the process of launching the main net. EOS Authority was able to get the snapshot yesterday, so congratulations to EOS Authority. Good job, Roshan, getting the snapshot. And we're in the boot up period. The boot up period will take, I think, a minimum of 48 hours, I read. And at that time, block producers are being selected. And as soon as all that boot up is done, block producers are selected, then the chain will be up and running. So we're very, very close to when mainnet launch, mainnet chain will be running. So I want to talk a little bit tonight about the statistics that I read on Reddit about who owns EOS and how the ownership is weighted by how many tokens you own. I believe I've read there were 164,000 accounts, and somewhere close to half of the accounts are people that own 100 EOS or less. So this that would only happen with the way they did it, by giving it a whole year to people, for people to buy the tokens. So half the people are in this thing for possibly $100 or less. That means they're not going to be wanting to sell very soon. People are, that's in strong hands with the amounts a lot of people own. So that's what I've always said about this. By doing it this way, you put it in a lot of people's hands, not a few people's hands. Tokens are not going to be sold, they're going to be held. And when you have half the tokens tied up by people that have small amounts or not very much money in the token, not likely for them to sell anytime soon. So keep that in mind when you're thinking about supply and demand, and what supply is available when there's so much demand out there for those few tokens. The people that really, really want to sell them or have to sell them. So it's a very, very interesting the way this was structured. Very interesting. It amazes me every time I think about how they did this. Very ingenious way of doing this. So I want to talk a little bit more about holding the token. So there's and you don't know how many, 50%, a little over 50%, maybe the lender, I can't remember, but have 100 tokens or less. Let's just say for those people that own 100 tokens right now, and they can have, like I say, $100 in it. If they bought it last year, it was around $2 or $1. They could have bought 100 tokens for $100. So they're in this for $100. And let's just think about the airdrop for a second. Let's think about $100 investment. They've already gotten the airdrop from the DAC, EOS DAC, which is running for block producer. They received that airdrop, or you will receive it, but you should have received it. And if you had 100 token in DAC for 100 shares of EOS, 1 for 1, you got $15. You got $15 just thrown in your lap for a $100 investment. For $100, $15 just got thrown in your lap for the airdrop. You did nothing for it. You didn't buy it. You didn't purchase it. You didn't have to fill out a form. You didn't have to do anything. Just own EOS, and you got $15. So let's think about this in the long term. Let's think about over the course of the next year or two. Possibly could be 1,000 airdrops. We don't know. Could be more, could be less. But let's just say 1,000. Let's just say, for rough estimate, let's just say 1,000. So you got $100 in this. You got 1,000 airdrops, and let's just say they only do as well as the DAC. So 1,000 airdrops, 1 for 1. So you got 100 tokens. You got 1,000 airdrops. That's 100,000 tokens. So you just received 100,000 tokens of every idea out there that airdrops on EOS. All the ideas, all the things that could happen, the possibilities, all the things that people could dream up to do, all the great, wonderful ideas that could be built on EOS, and you just got it for free. You just got it for free. You got 100,000 tokens for free. And let's just say those 100,000 tokens only did as well as the DAC, 15 cents. And I don't know, I haven't looked at the DAC for a couple of days. Could be more, could be less. But the last time I looked, it was 15 cents. So you got 100,000 tokens at 15 cents. So $15,000. Not a bad return on $100. $15,000 for a $100 investment just by receiving all the airdrops that could possibly be made here in the next year or two. But nice return. I mean, come on, that's better than dividends on a stock. That's better than anything you can imagine. You did nothing to do it, just by owning EOS and maybe having a small investment in EOS. Now let's just say a few of those go to $1. And let's say not 50 cents, let's just say they do $1. And who knows what the possibilities are. Could be the next Uber that you get an airdrop from. Could be the next GitHub. Saw GitHub sold out today to Microsoft. Wasn't too happy about that. But let's just say that I should have done an airdrop on EOS instead of. But well, that's another story. I've always been an open source software guy, so I love GitHub. And when I saw that they sold out to the king of charging for softwares, I wished, man, they should have done an airdrop on EOS. That would have been so wonderful to have get a token from GitHub on EOS. But let's just say some of those tokens do $1 instead of 15 cents. Now instead of getting $15 for your 100 tokens, you're getting $100 for your 100 tokens. Now you multiply that by 1,000. That's 100,000 on a $100 investment. You see where I'm going with this, and you see the possibilities with airdrops. So this is an amazing statistic given the fact that so many people are in this for very little bit of money. So when you start thinking about what could happen here, and this is not, this is not crazy math either. This is real math. This is stuff that could really, really happen. The possibilities are endless as far as what can be done as far as this as a platform is concerned. Not to mention the fact that these EOS tokens are going to be very valuable because by the time people stake them for airdrops, by the time people stake them for building apps, there's not going to be much available. I think a lot of these tokens are going to get staked for airdrops, so keep that in mind too. When people want to do something in the future, they say, wow, building on this platform is really nice, but I got to get some tokens. Who are they going to go to? Well, nobody has them. Everybody's either staked them or they're holding on to them. So what do they have to do now? They have to pay up for them, supply and demand. So that's very likely to happen. Very likely, 100% it's going to happen. So when people tell me, or they talk about, how we shouldn't dream too big, I say, no, you need to dream big here. Because this is really a big deal. I mean, I love the car commercial. I can't remember what car it was, but there's a beautiful sports car in the background. And the guy says, most people buy what they need. Some people buy what they want. Few buy what they dream. At EOS, you need to buy what you dream. You need to. This is a dream that could be big. It could be the biggest dream most of us ever have in our lives. And like I say, for even a small amount of money, you could have huge returns. So you need to dream big. You need to think big. Don't think that this isn't something big, because it is something big. I talk about it all the time, about how big this is. And I believe how big it is. And everybody else needs to too. This is something extraordinary, something beautiful, something we all should be very interested in and excited about. Every day we should get up and think, wow, what's going on with EOS today? What new deals being built on EOS? What great ideas being done on EOS right now? Because that's how great this is. And it's an exciting thing. And like I just explained to you, I mean, people with a few $100s in this thing could be reaping tens of thousands of dollars reward. And that's a good thing. And that's why I'm all about EOS, and that's why I'm very positive about EOS, because I'm into helping people change their lives. I want people to have a better life. I've never ever looked at someone that struggled and said, oh, well, they just didn't work that hard, or they should have done something different with their lives or something like that. No, I never feel like that. I feel like life isn't always, something that we have total control over. Sometimes circumstances are just stuff happens, and there's nothing you can do about it. You're just stuck in a situation that you're hard to get out of, or something that you can't, that you didn't create yourself. So I never like hardship for people. I want people to do well, and that's why I like projects like EOS, because I think it's going to help a lot of people. So anyway, I appreciate you watching tonight. Thank you very much.